morning, Cambridge Springs Elementary. This is Mrs. Walsh bringing you today's virtual art instruction. Follow along and have a great time. I know we will. Good morning. Today, for your virtual art lesson, we are going to be working with shapes and lines. For this lesson, you're going to need a piece of copier paper, 3 colored crayons, different colors. If you have markers, you can use markers. If you have colored pencil, you can use colored pencil. I had crayons nearby, so I'm using crayons. But whatever you have to use that you have 3 different colors of will work for this. You will need a pair of scissors to do some cutting, and you're going to need a glue stick. So let's get started. I'm going to set my crayons, glue stick, and scissors aside for now. I'm going to start with my piece of paper in front of me in this direction. So skinny is at the top and bottom, longer is at the sides. We're going to take the bottom of the paper very slowly and carefully and roll it up to the top. Line your edges up and crease it down in the middle. Now, when you open this up, turn it so the crease is straight in front of you. Using your scissors, cut on the crease so that you have cut this piece of paper into 2 equal rectangles. Set one piece aside. This is going to be our background for later. And let's take this one and turn it in this direction so we can draw some shapes on here. Using those 3 different colored materials you have, crayon, marker, or colored pencil, we're going to draw 3 shapes. It does not matter which color you choose for each shape. That can be completely up to you. I'm going to start with blue, and I am going to draw a triangle. Watch the size I make on the paper. A triangle has 1, 2, 3 straight sides. So there is my triangle. You don't want the triangle to be too big. You don't want the triangle to be too small. Too big is when it reaches all the way to the edges of the paper. But too small would be like this, because we're gonna be cutting these shapes out to use. You want it to be a larger in size so that it's easier to cut out to glue onto your background paper. Once you have your size right, go ahead and color your shape in. Being careful to keep the color inside the edges, practicing your coloring skills. It's okay to not be perfect, but it's better to practice and get better at it. There. Once my triangle's colored in, I'm going to switch colors. Next, I will use purple, and I'm going to do a square. Squares have how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they should be equal, otherwise it would be a rectangle. So I'm going to make my square as tall as I've made my triangle by making the first side a straight line that matches the size of the triangle. Then I'm going to put the top on it, and I need it to be about the same length as that first one. That's how you judge it as a square. All 4 sides have to be equal. It can't get longer on 2 sides or we've accidentally made a rectangle. So now if I close this 4-sided, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, which is a square. And I'm going to practice my coloring skills, coloring that in as well. And like I said when we started, if your triangle is red and your square is blue, whatever color you chose for these is perfectly fine. I just need you to know what color you colored each one. But it does not have to match mine. So now we have a triangle, 3 sides, 1, 2, 3. A square, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last color that you have, I have red, we're going to do a circle. And you want the circle, if you were drawing it inside of your square, to reach all of the four-sided edges. So maybe you even want to take that third color and practice without drawing it, making a circle that fits in your square. Bounce to each edge like a ball. Then, when you have a good feel for how big that circle is, let's come down here and draw a circle that would fit tidily in the box. And I actually made it, I think, a little bit larger than I was tracing in the box, but that's a good size, so I like it. Now, color that in. Whatever three colors you chose to use today is perfectly fine. It does not have to be my colors. It does not have to be crayon. It can be marker or colored pencil. As long as you are following along with the directions of the shapes and using color to do so, you are doing just fine. Okay, so there's our three shapes, and those are three very basic shapes we should know by now. Triangle, square, circle. I'm going to use my scissors now, and I'm going to cut each one of these out carefully. I'm going to start by cutting out the square and the triangle because I know these are easier to cut out. They have straight sides, and the blades of your scissors, they're straight. So it is easier to cut out any shape that has straight sides than it is to cut out a round object. So I'm going to save that one for last. I'm going to start with the triangle, and I'm going to cut it out right on the lines. I'm coming in at an angle, so I know I'm going to slide like a sliding board right down this side of the shape. It's easier and safer when you cut that way. Then when I get down here, notice I cut past the corner so that when I turn my scissor blades, I'm not going to tear the corner. I've got a little bit of a gap where my scissors can turn that corner and leave a nice point on my triangle. Then I'm going to cut straight down that side, go a little too far for the same reason. When you turn your scissor blades, and I might even come back here and make it easy on myself and go from the top and cut down this side of the triangle. So there is my blue triangle cut out. We'll set that aside. This is my next straight-sided shape, so I'm going to do this one next. I come straight in from the top to slide like a sliding board down this side. Cut too far, so when I turn my paper, it doesn't tear it. I cut down the second side, cut too far, so when I turn, I'm going to cut this right off the edge. So now all I have to do is give this little square a haircut. Snip the top, and there is my square. Square, triangle. I'm going to set up here on my background paper while I show you a trick for this circle we're going to cut out. Now, a circle, it's harder because your blades are straight and the edge is completely curved. So the first thing I want you to do is not cut the circle out. I want you to cut around it and get rid of some of this excess paper that tends to get in your way as you're cutting. So there's my circle, and I've gotten rid of all this scrap paper without it having to get in the way as I'm cutting the circle. Now, I can go a little bit slower and be more precise. The trick to cutting out a circle well is not to try and chomp the blade like you would a straight side, but to wiggle your blades up and down quickly. When I just take teeny tiny bites and keep moving around the edge of the circle as I wiggle the blades, I can get a nice, precise, curved edge to that circle instead of having jagged points anywhere along the edge. And then I can stop and turn my paper before I start wiggling the blades again to catch up. And there is my circle. Voila. Scrap aside, scissors aside, find that glue stick. Take your paper that we had cut the other half of for background, And we're just going to glue these shapes down to this paper. Doesn't matter which one goes where, as long as you space them out so they're not too close to each other. They're just spaced nicely across the paper. So I'm going to put my circle here so it's not too close to an edge, but there's plenty of room left to fit my square and my triangle without them touching. The square is pretty good size, so let's find a spot for this. I'm gonna say here, close to the edge, but definitely with a nice gap around it. So there's my circle, my square are glued. Take the triangle and give it a spot. I'm gonna put it right down here closer to the bottom. Not too close, still a nice little gap. So there are my three shapes glued to my paper, space between them and the edge of the paper. Now, those three colors you use to draw your shapes, we're going to be using those same three colors to put some outside patterns on each one of these shapes. Whatever color your circle was, use that same color and draw a circle around the outside of it using the same color. It should look like this. Leave a gap between the edge of the shape and your new line and draw a circle around your circle using the circle color. My circle is red, so my line is red. Circle, circle. Go to the triangle. Whatever color you made the triangle, make a triangle around the triangle. Side 1, side 2, and side 3. My triangle is blue, my line is blue. And I bet you've guessed what I'm gonna do to my square. My square is purple, so I'm gonna use purple to draw a square around the square. There. You should have a line around your circle that is the same color, a line around your triangle that is the same color, a line around your square that is the same color. Let's go back to the beginning. The first shape we traced was the circle. Now, you cannot use a color that is the same as the circle, so set that one aside and choose a different one. I could use blue or I could use purple because my circle was red. I think I'll use blue this time, but I could use purple if I wanted to. Draw a circle outside of the red circle using my blue. So now I have two circles around my circle. The first one's the same color, the second one is not. Notice I ran out of room at the top. When you run out of room, that's fine. Let the line fall off the edge of your paper and continue it where it will fit. Now we have two circles around the circle. We need to get two triangles around the triangle. This one has to be a different color. I think I'll use purple this time. Side 1, side 2, side 3. That was tricky being that close to the edge, but I got it to fit. Then we have two circle lines around the circle, two triangle lines around the triangle, but only one around our square. So let's put a second one around the square using a different color this time. I've run out of room at the top and the side. So the only place I can put the lines are where they will fit beside and under this triangle. I'm sorry, I misspoke, this square. So now look, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've used red and blue around the circle. So I still have to use purple, but I'm out of room and this gets tricky. So watch how I do this. This side of the circle, I can only fit this edge, but it would come back down and pick up here and go under until it, boom, crashes into this line. I don't want to draw through lines, so that's going to stop my line around the circle here. But it would come back up over this side and go around the top there. So there's my third circle around my circle. The triangle, we've used purple, we've used blue. We need to do a red. I can't put a line here, it would be crashing into my circle lines. But can I put one here? I sure can. So I'm gonna go like that. I can't put one across the bottom, it would be off the paper. So let's go to this side. I can put one down this side, but when it crashes into the square, I gotta stop, go over, and pick up on the other side. So there is the third lines I can fit around my triangle. My square, I've used red, and I've used purple. So all I have left to do is blue. This side, I can fit a line like this, but stop when I crash into the side of the triangle. I can't fit one here, I can't fit one here. Can I fit one here? You're right, I can. So then we'll put the bottom of the square across there. Now, each shape, our circle, our triangle, our square, has been outlined with the shape in all three colors. The red has been circled with red, blue, and purple. Red, blue, and purple. The square has been outlined in blue, purple, and red. Blue, purple, and red. And I think I just called that a square. The square has been outlined in purple, red, blue. Purple, red, blue. So all of my shapes have been drawn, colored in, cut out by me, and then traced with the three colors I used to make them. At this point, you can have some fun coloring in some of these areas as well. I'll show you how I did mine. I didn't color all the lines in, but I chose different areas to use those three colors in to make my artwork even more beautiful. You are welcome to do so as well. When you are done, snap a picture and send it to me so I see your finished artwork. I'm so proud of you for following along today during the virtual art lesson. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.